to the amount of money subsidised would make it an automatic transition from a fair pay to a
Yes, obviously a heated argument is going to go on for a lot longer. That's all we have from this edition of Close-Up North. Next week we actually take to the road when we'll be coming to you live from Humberside, from the site in fact of the Humber Bridge, to report on how that massive project is getting on and what it'll mean to the future of the county of Humberside. Until then, a very good night to you.
This is BBC1 North. Good evening. Now here are the late news headlines from the Look North newsroom. The search for the survivors of the Grimsby trawler Margrethe Bogen, which was lost in the North Sea, was called off this afternoon. All 6 crew are presumed to have died. White-collar workers at the Closeup plants in Yorkshire and Derbyshire voted today on a new wage offer. At Bolsover in Derbyshire, the vote was 77% for acceptance, but the results at other plants aren't yet known. The workers have agreed to strike if the offer's rejected. British Airways, who are pulling out of Leeds Bradford Airport, say there'll be no compulsory staff redundancies. The 89 employees at Yeadon will be offered jobs elsewhere unless they qualify for early retirement. Yorkshire television screens carried a special police appeal tonight about the Yorkshire Ripper. The IBA and union representatives have agreed it's in the public interest to show it from now on at intervals. The caption said, "Here is a police message. If you think you could help to catch the Yorkshire Ripper, please telephone Bradford, that's 0274 27441, or your local police." Police in Hull have detained a man in connection with an attack on a bus driver earlier this week, and the city's bus crews may now call off the strike they'd planned for tomorrow and Sunday in protest at the attack. Finally, sport, and there's just one rugby league result tonight. In Division 2, Bramley beat Rochdale Hornets by 14 points to 10. And that's the news in the region tonight. Our next scheduled bulletin is on Monday afternoon at 7 minutes to 4. And now, here are the national headlines from Christopher Morris.
Unions at Leyland have given their broad support to a plan to streamline the company by cutting at least 25,000 jobs. This agreement is the result of talks between the unions and BL management, which ended tonight after 7 hours. The union leaders will consult their members later this month. The Northern Ireland Secretary, Mr. Humphrey Atkins, says Britain and Ireland are going hand in hand to improve cross-border operations. His statement follows security talks with Irish cabinet ministers in London. This meeting was the result of discussions last month between Mrs. Thatcher and Mr. Jack Lynch after the murder of Lord Mountbatten and the Warren Point ambush. Mr. Atkins would not give details of the new security measures, but it's reported that there'll be a joint study by the Royal Ulster Constabulary and the Irish Gardaí. The Irish government's Foreign Minister, Mr. O'Kennedy, said he hoped to see a new British political initiative on Northern Ireland. And on the issue of Northern Ireland, the Labour Party's annual conference at Brighton has voted against the controversial motion advocating the withdrawal of troops from the province. The motion was rejected decisively on the conference's final day. The Salisbury delegation to the Zimbabwe-Rhodesia Conference has accepted Britain's constitutional proposals, but Bishop Muzorewa has said that there were 2 conditions: that suitable arrangements were made to implement the constitution and that sanctions were lifted. A British spokesman described this as a major step forward. At the Old Bailey, a former senior police officer, John Groves, has been found guilty of passing on confidential documents to the late financier Sir Eric Miller. Groves, who was cleared of 4 other charges of corruption, was fined £500 and ordered to pay £200 costs. And a 19-year-old man has been remanded on custody at Trowbridge in Wiltshire, charged with the murder of Police Constable Desmond Kellam. He's David Octavius James, an unemployed labourer. PC Kellam died after an incident on Wednesday night. That's all from us, and now the weekend weather.
Well, overnight rain will spread to most southwestern areas of Britain, and during tomorrow this rain will move slowly northeast. In much of eastern England and central Scotland it'll remain dry until the evening, although it'll become rather cloudy during the afternoon. Temperatures will be similar to today's, but it'll become windier generally, with gales in some southern and western parts. Now look at Saturday's programmes on BBC1. At 6:40, Larry Grayson and Isla St Clair invite us to play the Generation Game, and at 7:35, another episode of Secret Army. At 8:30, a chance to meet a host of personalities with Mike Yarwood in Persons, and at 9 o'clock, international show jumping with the final night of the 1979 Horse of the Year show. The news is at 10:15, and at 10:25, Match of the Day highlights 2 Football League matches. Finally, at 11:25, Parkinson, with guests Laurie McMenemy, manager of Southampton Football Club, Desmond Morris, author of The Naked Ape, and Kenny Everett. Well, these are Saturday evening's programmes on BBC1. Details in Radio Times. Well, now on BBC1, The Late Film. Dick Van Dyke and Angie Dickinson star in Some Kind of a Nut.